Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Yes. The evacuee. I was the evacuee. And to explain about this, I need to take you back in time into a world that doesn't now exist. Except in my mind. In the windmills of my mind, this remains with me as a jewel, part of my life, which I treasure. How did this come about? I was 6 years old. Actually, I was quite grown up because I was nearly 7. And we lived in a town in England called Bristol. This was in the early days of the Second World War. And we lived by a very large aircraft factory. And an aircraft factory in the Second World War was a target. One day, the Luftwaffe attacked the factory with a wave, I think it was about 58 bombers. There was no defense on the factory, and they came in and they bombed the factory. Fortunately or unfortunately, they missed most of the factory. And what they call collateral damage nowadays, that word wasn't used then, they hit a lot of the residential area. 91 people killed in the factory, and people around in the residential. I didn't witness this because I was down in an air raid shelter. The next day, because they hadn't finished the job, they came back. And I happened to be in the garden of the house where we lived, and it was a clear blue panorama of the sky. And the air raid warden sounded. And I could see in the east the silhouette of an approaching bomber squadron on their bomb run towards the factory. The difference this day was the factory was defended by a squadron of Hurricanes. And as the German bomber force approached the factory, we saw the Hurricanes gaining altitude into the sun, where they seemed to disappear. And then, out of the sky, as the formation approached the factory, they dived. And you can imagine this 6-year-old boy watching this in the panorama of the sky. The noise of the machine guns as they went into the bomber force, which was unprotected. To see the fireballs in the sky, the noise, the engines, was just incredible. 3 days later, they hit the medieval centre of the city, and that disappeared in a firestorm. Because of attacks of this nature, the British government decided to evacuate the children into the countryside. Evacuate. I was an evacuee. So there I was, in deepest Wiltshire, standing on the railway station, with my little bag, a big label on my coat, and the gas mask. And I was to be billeted with some people called the Giddings in a thatched cottage. I was a city kid, and here I was undergoing a culture change that I never imagined. I'd never ever seen a thatched cottage, let alone live in one. No running water, no gas, no electricity, no sanitation, at least main sanitation. This was a new world for me, a rural village. The Giddings, what they had instead of electricity were paraffin lamps and candles. What they had For cooking was an open range stove. What they had in the front parlour was a great big Bible. And that village and that part of life remains with me forever. I went to the one-room schoolhouse, became part of the village life. The post office was the general store, the pub, the church. And that's the image that remains with me. That's that jewel I told you about. In adult life, I made a mistake. Because I went back. And what did I find? The village was still there. But it wasn't the same village. It had changed. It had now become a dormitory southern for people from London that had enough money to buy out the place, and they could come down there for the weekends. And so, I was disappointed. The thing I realised, that life was teaching me a lesson. What it was doing, it was saying, there are some things in this life that are best left unchanged. And that's why it remains in the windmills of my mind. Thank you.